Another important influence on my work was Lu Xun. In the late 30s, I was involved in the study of Chinese nationalism, and I was particularly interested in, at one point, in the terminology, the change in terminology by Sun Yat-sen as he came under Soviet influence. As part of what was originally a largely political study of Chinese nationalism, I encountered references to people who wanted to adopt an alphabetic system of writing for Chinese. At first I brushed these materials aside because the wisdom at the time was you just couldn't write Chinese alphabetically. Characters were indispensable to writing, and these were just a bunch of crackpots. But then when I came across the fact that Lu Xun was an ardent supporter of what was then called Latinization, I decided that, in view of my great admiration for this wonderful writer, this wonderful man, both as a writer and as a human being, I want to emphasize here that my approach to this subject does not involve any idea of abandoning Chinese characters. Even some of my best friends have expressed surprise when they look at my advocacy of alphabetic writing and think that that means abandonment of Chinese characters. One, I think it's utterly impossible that Chinese characters can be abandoned. Two, if they could be done, I would not approve it. What I am in favor of is something that the Chinese call shuangwenzhi, that is, a two-script system, which I've translated as digraphia. That is, the joint use of the traditional characters and pinyin, each in the area to which it's best suited. I'd like to mention now three aspects of the Chinese field that have interested me, and I'd like to comment on what seems to be the present state of our field. As far as pedagogy is concerned, tremendous advances have been made since the time when I was involved in the production of teaching materials. The field is much broader, a lot more people involved in it, lots more fresh ideas, new techniques, and so on. So I feel that that area is quite strong. Our field is doing quite well in that area, I feel. Another aspect of our field is the linguistic one. At the time when I became involved in this whole business, it was George Kennedy, Lai Zhao, and a handful of other linguists involved in Chinese. Now there are hundreds of people, and there's a tremendous amount of production of work in the linguistic field. That area, too, I think is very strong. Our field is doing well in that area. The third area of my interest is that of sociolinguistics. And here I'm afraid the field is not doing as well as it should be. By sociolinguistics, I have in mind such areas as what's going to happen to the linguistic situation in Taiwan, for example, where the democratization of that area has resulted in an upsurge of Taiwanese and controversy as to what the language policy should be in that island, and what is the bearing of all this on reunification with China, on relations between Taiwan and the mainland. Another problem area is Hong Kong. I received publications from Hong Kong, and they're still in the traditional characters. What does this mean for the future of writing in China? An extremely important area is the use of computers and how we handle characters on computer. Here I must express my extreme disappointment with the Chinese government and its emphasis on an approach based on the shape of characters to its sponsorship and support of inputting systems. I think this is a serious mistake, and China is being held back by this narrow-minded approach. The only efficient system that I can think of is to use pinyin for inputting and then, of course, character outputting. This needs to be studied in depth, and I feel that at present the field largely takes the Chinese language situation as a given. I think this is an error. I think that the Chinese language is going to be undergoing strains, changes that we should keep on top of, and we should look into the future. What's going to be the language situation in China 10, 20, 50 years from now?